Welcome to the This and That Plus Cat podcast. Here on my podcast, we will talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And of course, I'm your host, Kat. Hey y'all. So today we're at the lake, and today we're going to be talking about some really deep things. So this is just a warning. If you don't want to hear it, if you don't want to listen to it, click off this video. Don't even bother with it, because we're going to be talking about some deep things. My intention of this video is to share my story. You know, I'm going to have other people on this podcast. Other people are going to come on and say some things, and I'm going to have some conversations. But for right now, I feel like it was only right to start with myself, because people got to know you before they start to know other people. And people are like, what could you have possibly been through? I've been through a lot. You ask some people that know my story, and they are in shock of how I am still kicking and smiling too. I just went through so much, and it all started in middle school. All right, we're gonna go in order here. It started in middle school. I was bullied a lot. I wanted to be accepted by people, and I was trying to find out who I was. Who am I? Which is a question we all ask ourselves, and I still haven't figured out who exactly I am. You know, we all try to figure it out, but that comes with time. So I was asking myself who I was, and I was trying to fit in with the crowd. And anything that I heard, I'd say to other people, maybe it would make me fit in. Nothing ever made me fit in. People just never liked me. No matter how much I tried to blend in or fit in or be a part of the crowd, I guess you could say, it just never worked out for me. And I really, really, really wanted to be accepted. So I said some pretty crazy things that I'm not proud of. I've done some things that I'm not proud of, and I will admit that. And if I ever see those people again, I will apologize. I can admit that I've made a mistake. But I am sorry for it, but it also made me into the person that I am today. And I feel like I'm so much stronger because of the person that I am today. And all of those dark things that I went through made me who I am. So yeah, I was kind of bullied a lot. Then we got into high school. In high school, I remember hearing about it my freshman year. Somebody had committed suicide. And that was a really hard thing for me to grasp. Freshman year, I couldn't believe how somebody could hate their life so much that they would take their life. Soon to find out, I would be one of those people, and I would definitely understand why they attempted or tried, or why they felt there was nothing left in life for them. I figured out why very shortly after, but I was just a little freshman, so I was just walking around exploring, and people made fun of me a lot. Like, I was bullied way more than I should have been. I was put through the ringer. Like, these people had no mercy on me. I knew the crap that they would talk. Let me tell you what, something about me is I knew everything that everybody would say, because I heard it from other people. I had connections with everybody, but wasn't close enough to be friends with them, if that makes sense. So I had a bunch of acquaintances. And when something would go wrong, they would come up to me and they would tell me, oh, this happened, I heard this and I heard that. And I would get so mad and frustrated. I'd go on my little Instagram or Snapchat story, and I'd type up all about it, and I'd be like, this person said this, and they, you know, you shouldn't be friends with this person anymore. I'd say a lot of curse words too, because this person did this, and that. And let me tell you what, I really hurt somebody when I did that. And I apologize to her. Now, looking back on it, I apologize to her. I don't think she'll ever see this, but if she does. But I just lashed out at a bunch of people, and it wasn't productive at all. So I would get so angry on the inside. And social media can be a good thing, but it can also be such a bad thing. And lashing out at people who don't even care what you have to say, lashing out just so you can make somebody feel bad about themselves, is, why would you do that? It's pointless. You're wasting so much anger, so much energy that you could be doing something productive, and you're just lashing out on people. Why? Now that I look back on it, I'm like, I would never do that again. I would never go on the internet and just rage about something that happened, because it's just wasting my time. It's wasting my energy. I have more productive things to do with my life. Way more productive things to do with my life than to tear people apart on the internet. Like, come on, be real. And honestly, if somebody wants to solve a conflict with you, they'll come up to you and you guys can talk it out face to face. But if people want to go straight to the internet and go through this person and that person, you heard it through the grapevine, you don't want to be friends with that person. You want somebody who's going to come up to you and say, hey, listen, I heard this happened. I want to talk about it and see exactly what happened. You go straight to the source. Don't waste your time with all this other stuff. I don't participate in that no more. I'm so over that. You want to go through this person and that person? No. Then you ain't the friend for me. You're going to come up to me, you're going to talk to my face, and you're going to tell me it to my face what your problem is. Then we can sort it out. But if you don't got the time for that, then I don't got the time for you. So then, stuff really hit the fan when I got into high school. And let me tell you what, that was not fun. Not fun at all. I got in a really bad situation with somebody who wanted to manipulate me. And this was a grown man. A grown man. I forgive him now. But it's still all messed up what happened. And I don't forget what happened either. Because I went through all that stuff and I don't forget. I can forgive, but I don't forget. I remember all of it. And I remember that feeling of being manipulated. And growing up in that environment was not healthy. How did I get involved in that environment? Well, one, he saw me as an easy target. By the way, he was my teacher. I should probably start there. He was my teacher in high school. And how did I get into this place where I was being manipulated? He saw me as a weak target. And often when people see you as weak, they're going to try and get something out of you or do something to you in some way. And he just really wanted me to know the love of God. Okay? And God is a really big part of my story. If you're not religious, I totally understand. I'm not going to push anything on you. This is simply just me sharing my story. And this is a big part of my story. So I had come to know Christ again around freshman year. And he was a big part of my life. I never really had my real father growing up. I had my stepdad, but I never really had my real father growing up. So I think in a way I kind of always look for a father figure in other people, if that makes sense. Like older people, older males, I guess. Everybody needs a father figure, you know? It was just me searching for validation in other people. So he told me about God, and I heard about God, and I said, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot again. And then I started going to his church that he went to, and me and him started getting real close to the point where I knew personal stuff about him and he knew personal stuff about me. Very personal stuff about me, might I add. And there's parts of this story that aren't my story to tell. I'm just going to tell my part, but there's some crazy stuff that happened, crazy stuff that went down. And I was put in a really, really bad position. So much so that I think I was a sophomore at this time. I was just walking around campus. Someone came up to me, started screaming in my face, and just lashing out on me. And I kept walking on with my day, whatever, after she was done with her whole screaming session or whatever. And I check my phone, and I get text messages from people saying, hey, are you okay? I saw her screaming at you. Because meanwhile, the halls are full at this time. Because the bell had just rang, and she was screaming at me in front of everybody. So when I saw that, I went to the bathroom. And let me tell you what. We had these metal paper towel holders. I'm talking metal, heavy duty. I was in a ghetto school. So we had some heavy duty metal paper towel holder thingies up in the bathroom. And I took my fist and I punched that thing and I dented the hell out of it. I remember that. I dented a couple things in that school, but yeah, I dented that thing because I was mad. I was so mad. How are you going to sit there and humiliate me in front of everybody? And it was all over a situation that I couldn't control. A lot of the times when there are situations that you go through and it involves multiple people, some people only think they have tunnel vision. They think it's only them, their situation, and what they experience with the other person, and that's their story. But they don't realize that everything that happened in that story also affected multiple people. So while it was your story, it became other people's story because these people were also close with that person. So while I'm not going to tell a story that's not mine to tell, I do have parts involved in that story that is for me to tell because I did go through it. I did go through it. I went through, yeah. And one of the things he told me was that my friends were going to hell. The friends that I have grown so close with were going to hell because they wanted out of this group Bible study thing that we had. Yeah, he came up to me during school and told me, hey, listen, they're going to go to hell because they don't believe what I believe and they don't want to be in this group anymore, so they're going to hell. And by the way, it was the definition of a cult. It was the definition of a cult. And it was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy. It was pretty wild. But yeah, I still think back on it and I think about everything that happened. I'm kind of over it now. I've kind of, gotten to be at peace with it. But yeah. So after everything that had went down, which was very intense, and if you want to read the news article on it, you can. If you know what I'm talking about, look up the news article, read about it. I'm not going to go too much into detail because some of that story is not mine to tell. I don't really have that much trauma from it because I wasn't in it for that long, I will admit that. But it did affect me in a way. So after that whole thing went down, that cult, and I, wasn't allowed to be in the cult because I was still in school and it was weird. And he didn't want there to be allegations that a minor was at his house, even though I was at his house. I was at his house all the time. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I was in school and at his house all the time, which is a terrible idea, by the way, if you're a teacher. Don't invite your students to your house while you're a teacher. Just don't. Wait till they graduate or something at least. Like, if anything, don't bring them to the place where you live. Go somewhere else, That's just me. Like, that's just common sense. And I should have seen all this, but the thing is, I was so desperate for validation and somebody love me and whatever. Love me as in, not romantically in any way, but like a connection, to have a connection with somebody type of thing. But yeah, after that went downhill, then I was like, you know what? This God thing ain't for me. And I don't want to be a Christian. I was like, I was so done with it. I was like, nope, not going to happen. And by this point, I was involved. I was involved with the church. I had friends in the church. I was MVP to one of the Christian clubs that we had on campus. I was very, very heavily involved with the church. And then I just slowly slipped away. And I think people saw it, but the crazy part is no one ever said anything to me. They just judged me. Christians saw me slip away and slip away and slip away, and no one ever said anything. They just judged me for it. Oh, she's doing this again. Did you hear that? She's doing this and she's doing that and blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So after that whole thing happened with the police, I crashed. I went so far downhill, it's not even funny. I was the most depressed person ever. My whole identity, my whole friendships that I had just completely crashed. Everybody was bullying me. Everyone was spreading rumors. And I heard all the rumors too. I knew what was going on. I wasn't dumb. So, what was my first idea? To get out of that class as soon as possible. So I withdrew from that class. I'm like, I'm not staying here to be ridiculed by you people who act like you know what's going on when in reality you have no idea. So for the next couple months, I walked around school knowing exactly what was about to happen, but not saying a word to anybody because I was told that it wasn't my story to tell. I mean, usually you speak up and say something if you see something that happens, but it wasn't my story to tell because I wasn't a part of it. And mind you, I will admit, I came in at the very last moment, so I wasn't subjected to as much manipulation and ridicule and all this other stuff, but I was still a part of it in some way. And my feelings are still very valid. And it got so bad to the point where I was crying on my floor in my room, crying, sobbing, literally tears and snot and everything just dripping down my face. And I was just like so done with life that I wanted to end it all. I didn't think life was worth it anymore. And that was like a really hard thing for me, a really hard time period. There was a point where I wanted to be, I remember this distinctly, I wanted to be locked away in a dark room and have nobody bother me and just cry on the floor. And that's exactly what I did. I locked myself in the darkest room of the house. I laid on the floor with my blanket and I cried for hours and hours and hours. And a part of me just slipped away and I was empty and didn't find joy in things and I didn't know what to do anymore. I was so lost. I was so lost. And I went from thinking, how could a person hate their life so much that they want to do something like this, to completely understanding what it felt like and why that person, I'm not going to talk too much about that, but yeah. And I finally got up the courage to talk to my mom one day and I said, I want to go to a psychiatrist and I want a therapist because I need help and I want to end it all. And my mom was like, okay, fine. So I got a therapist. I got a terrible psychiatrist who just gave me any pills that I asked for. And I was put on medication. After medication, after medication, after medication. There was one point where I took 4 different medications for depression and anxiety. 4 different medications that I was on, that I took every day. And I had tried over 8 or 9 different medications for depression and anxiety. None of them worked. I was still depressed. I was still the same person that I was. And I was stuck. Stuck in the mud. So stuck in the mud. I was just so stuck. It was unreal how stuck I was. And I was just down, so down all of the time. And I couldn't understand why anybody would want to live, why anybody would want to exist. And I didn't feel like it was right for me to breathe the air that I was breathing. I didn't think I had a purpose. I was like, my only purpose is to not be here. That's where we all end up. We all end up, not being here someday. So why not just get it over with and accelerate the process? So I tried that many times. Sadly, I'm by myself. Most people don't know that. And that was a really sad part of my life. Really sad part of my life. And I thank God every day that I got out of it. But yeah, it was something for a little bit. And let me tell you one thing that doesn't help. While I was down and out and depressed, every single day, I listened to depressing music. Every single day. Juice WRLD was my go-to. And I even got it tattooed on me, 999. Juice WRLD was my go-to. And I would just listen to this depressed stuff all the time. And I would just feed this sadness growing inside of me. Feed it over and over and over and over again. Just feed it and feed it and feed it. Listening to all this music about how sad people are and how they want to just, end it all. And I'm just like consuming all of this every single day. And I didn't realize it then, but I realize it now. That doesn't help. Listening to sad music every single day does not help. Gosh, it does not help. It doesn't. It doesn't. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it does help me because I can relate to it in a way. And I feel like somebody gets what I'm going through. So that's why it helps me. It don't help you. That's a lie. It don't help you. It just makes you even more depressed, to be honest. You listen to something enough, you start to believe it. And that is true in so many aspects of life. You listen to something enough and you start to believe it. And I started to believe it with a lot of things. So I started to adopt this victim mentality. I was the victim. Everyone had wronged me in my life. Everybody had wronged me. This person did this, 5 years ago, and this person did that to me. And everyone just hurt me. And the reason that I am this way is because somebody else hurt me. I am this way because of somebody else. That's what happened to me. That's why I'm so messed up. Because it's everybody else's fault that I'm this way. Which is the completely wrong mentality to have. And it's something that I opened my eyes to recently. And I recently discovered it. And I'm just amazed by how many people have this victim mentality. You look at somebody who's just down and out every single day. And I speak from a place because I know that I was there. I was there at one point. And I speak from this place because I know what it feels like. And I was just constantly down and out about it all. I was just going through it in so many different ways. And I thought it was everybody else's fault that I was the way that I was. I thought I needed medication. I thought, nothing was going to help me. I thought ending it all would help. I thought numbing my pain with other stuff would help, which doesn't help at all. I was finding temporary solutions for this growing problem that I had. It would only help me temporarily, It's only temporary, the thing that I'm feeling now. That's why I don't drink. I don't feel the need to drink. And a lot of people my age do drink, but I don't feel the need to. Because I'm like, what am I doing? Numbing my problems? I've just had a difficult, hard day, and what's the first thing I want to do? Come home and crack open a beer? And that may be somebody's, one thing, and I'm not judging nobody for it, but that's not my thing. I have my emotions, and I want to feel my emotions, and I want to understand why I'm feeling the way that I am. So for so long, I was stuck in this mentality that just like, my life sucks. My life sucks. Woe is me. Everybody needs to feel bad for me. This is my story, and this is my story, and this is what happened to me. So feel bad for me and help me. I'm crying. Please help me. And some people do need genuine help. Some people do have a chemical imbalance in their brain to where they are physically cannot help it. But other people, half of these people, I guarantee you, are just playing the victim card. Victim this and victim that. Woe is me. My life sucks. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You're unhappy every single day. What the hell is that doing for you? And you say you want to be happy. Oh, I want to be happy. I wish I could be happy. You can be happy. Have you tried? Have you tried? Because being happy, it doesn't take one day. One day of you looking in the mirror and saying, I am happy. Being happy takes every single day. You get up, and even though you don't feel like it, you look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm happy. And you don't feel it. You may not feel it. I never felt it until where I am now. I never felt it. I was like, I'm happy, but I knew deep down I didn't feel that way today. I didn't even want to get up or make my bed or feed myself or, stuff like that. Take a shower even. Just stuff that I did not want to do. I didn't want to do. Oh my gosh, I just remembered a story. Back when that whole situation happened in high school, the cult thing, I guess you could call it. The day after I came into school, I hadn't showered. I was in my pajamas. It was terrible. It was really bad. And it was to the point where the first thing I did when I got to school in my pajamas, no shower, I walked into the guidance office and they looked at me. And the guidance office knows me very well, because I was in there almost every single day for something. But I walked in that office and they could tell. They were like, we're going to get someone down here. You need help. And I was like, thank you. And they brought somebody down there, which is a person who I still love and adore till this day. She's awesome. But yeah, they could tell. They could tell that I was definitely going through it. And people go through all kinds of different situations. People go through terrible, terrible things in this world. Absolutely terrible things. And you can look at two people who go through the same exact thing, and one person could be happy and smiling, and you could never tell that anything has ever hurt them in their life. And the other person could just be down and out, depressed, and just wanting to give up on all of it. But what's the difference between the two? Mentality. It's all about your mentality. I was down and out and I was depressed. I can speak for both ways because I was this person, now I'm this person. And I've been both ways, so I can speak on it. I was the victim for so long. And I'm like, why did I do that to myself? I spent countless tears and countless wasting my time and energy on this person and that person, and it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't doing much for me. And I gave up on it. I'm like, why am I gonna sit here and wallow in this? And I see people who are 60, 50 years old, and they're still going through the same thing. I'm like, you have been miserable for your whole life and you're still sitting in it? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Did you ever want to wake up one day and just live and be happy and do what makes you happy? People think that it's always somebody else's fault, or I'm going to point my finger at this person and that person. It's nobody else's fault but your own. If you're unhappy, if you hate your job, if you hate where you live, if you hate the people you're surrounded with, if you, just hate your room, hate doing the dishes, if you hate all of this stuff, why don't you find a way to like it? You're just going to be miserable for the rest of your life and say, well, this is the way life is. This is the way life has to be. Life has to be miserable every single day. I have to go through this every single day. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to be miserable every day. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's so not true. Just not true at all. And I'm so sorry if you're living in that constant cycle of you're the victim, you're the victim. But you're not. You're not. You're giving power to something that is just controlling you. Why are you giving it power? Why are you feeding it? Why are you fueling it? Listen to depressing music and reading depressing stuff and watching depressing videos because you think crying's good and crying it out is going to help. That's not going to help you at all. That's not going to help you. I hate to break it to you. It's not doing anything for you. So just get out of the victim mentality. Oh my gosh. And now when I see it, I just can't stand it. Somebody who wants to, this happened recently. I'm no longer friends with this person, but somebody got in my car and I was so fed up. I was tired of it at this point. Every day he would pick a new thing, a new story to tell and explain why he's the victim of that story. He was like, oh, well, I went through this, so I'm sad today. And rudely, I will admit, I looked over to him and I said, pick a struggle. Pick a freaking struggle. Oh my gosh. It's like every day you're the freaking victim. You're the victim. You're the victim. You ever just want to wake up and be the hero of your own story? If you're so freaking sad and so freaking depressed about your entire life, then maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe you're doing something wrong. You ever try something different? You hate doing the dishes. You know what I do when I do the dishes? This might be lazy of me, but I sure do it. I put on a little TV show on my phone. I set my phone up and I do the dishes and I watch my TV show. And guess what? That gets the dishes done. Sure does. And if I don't want to take a shower that day, I say, you know what makes me feel better? When I take a shower, when I'm clean, when I smell good. That's what makes me feel better. So guess what? I take a shower. You know what makes me feel good? When I learn something. So now every day I try to learn something new. Or reading. I want to read more. Okay, let's read. Or I want to learn how to run. This is a recent one that I've been working on. I want to run. And I know I'm a bigger person, but I still want to run. I just want to be able to run a mile, you know? So I've been trying to run. It's just like little goals that you got to set up for yourself. And that's what life is. Trying to be the best person you can be. Setting up little goals for yourself so you can go along the way. And you can set those little goals up and you can achieve them. And you can look back and say, wow, I'm really proud of myself because I did that. I did that. You no longer have to be the victim. I'm so sorry if nobody has ever told you this, but you no longer have to be the victim. And if you are the victim, it's not anybody else's fault but your own. And if you want to come back at me and say, well, I have trauma and I have PTSD and I have depression and I have anxiety, those are serious issues in some cases. But also, you have to recognize if you're the other half that's just waking up every day and saying you're depressed, but in reality, you have a little sister or a little brother or a big brother or a big sister. And that's something to be grateful for because I'm sure you love your siblings. I'm sure you love your siblings. Or you get to wake up every day and you get to breathe air, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people, it's their last day and they don't ever get to fully live life. They don't fully get to live life. You know? Why live every moment like you have 100 years left to live? You're supposed to live it like it's your last moment. So that way you can look back and you have stories to tell and you can say, wow, I really did that. Wow, I did that. I'm proud of myself for that. And I think that's why I'm so goal-oriented, if that makes sense. Like, I want to graduate top of my class in college. I graduated top of my class in high school. Why can't I do it in college? That's a goal I set for myself. Or I want to start this podcast. That's a goal I set for myself. Here I am doing it. So you got to set up little goals and realize the things that make you happy and the things that fulfill you in life. There's always something that fulfills you. That is not bad, by the way. You think you have no talent, or I used to be one of those people. I have no talent and I don't really have anything to offer to the world. Oh, yes, I do. I got advice. I can write really well. I can make people feel things. And that's just like, that's what I want my life to be revolve around, just helping other people, lending out a helping hand, giving advice, telling people they don't have to live in this victim mentality for the rest of their life. Because listen, I don't want you to wake up one day, realize you're 50, and be like, what the hell did I do with my life? What the hell did I do with my life? I've been depressed my entire life. What did I do? I wasted all of this time. All of this time that I could have spent being with family or being with friends or doing something crazy to have a good story to tell my kids. And you're just wasting it away. I don't want you to be that person. So I'm telling you right now that if you're going through something and you're just so stuck in it and you're down in the rut, get yourself out of it. Pick yourself up. Damn it, you deserve a good life. You deserve to be happy. You need to start telling yourself that. You deserve to be happy. And also, smiling makes you naturally happier. It releases endorphins in your brains and stuff, something scientific. But smiling does make you happier. And it makes you look prettier. That's true. That's true. And I know I used to hear this all the time from people, from older people. Oh, why are you sad? You have no reason to be sad. And I was mad. I was mad at them for that. I was truly mad at them for the simple fact that these old people would act like they knew my life story, and they would come up to me and be like, you have no reason to be sad. I was like, only if you knew the half of it. Only if you knew what I actually been through. But the truth is, I got nothing to be truly sad about. I got food. I got a family. I got a place to live. I got a higher career that I'm chasing after. I got money that I'm chasing after. I got good goals. I have good relationships. I'm good. I'm golden. I'm ready. And if you don't have one of those things, go find them. You say, oh, well, I don't got a family. Go find one. Your family isn't always your bloodline. Sometimes it's people that you find in lifetimes. That can also be your family. Good relationships. You can have good relationships if you choose to. If you choose to. That's the key. You always have to choose to do something. You can't just stay stuck in it forever. It don't do nothing for you. It doesn't do anything for you. So then closer to the end of high school, I started exploring my faith a little more, and I really pushed God away. I was like, I don't want to deal with this crap. I was so mad at the world. Why, God? Why? Why, God? Why would you put me through this? And then I started getting back into God and stuff like that, and I was like, okay. And then I went to a church. And I went to this church, and I was on the worship team. I was doing really great for a little bit. Really great for a little bit. And I got in the worship team, and everything was going great, and I just really felt like I was in my place. And then I asked if I could become more involved in the worship team, maybe be a worship leader type of thing. And that's where it all went downhill. Basically, I got told that my worship, the way I was worshiping, was attention seeking. And that it wasn't for God, it was just for attention because I wanted attention. Which is never true, by the way, in my case. I don't know why I would subject myself to hate for attention. There was points where I would literally worship in church and kids would be behind me laughing. And I would hear them. So I don't know why I would subject myself to people laughing at me while I was worshiping. And before you say anything, it wasn't anything crazy. I would maybe get on the floor and kneel before the Lord. A lot of people do that. I would raise my hands. A lot of people do that. But nothing crazy. I wasn't running around the church or anything. Nothing like that. So after we had that conversation and I was in tears and in shambles, I walked out of the church. I'm like, I'm never going to that church again. So I walked out of the church. I didn't even go to the service. I don't even remember if I was supposed to sing that service or what. But I just left. I walked out. I was like, nope, this ain't it. This ain't it. And a lot of people judged me. A lot of people. And I kind of understood where they were coming from. Why they didn't want me on the team, because they said I wasn't really representing God, because this was still when I was a little depressed, but kind of getting out of it and kind of going towards God a little bit. And they were like, if you're not all for God, then you can't represent God on a stage. And I get that part, but you calling my worship attention seeking, which just really broke my spirit. So I walked out and I was like, pfft. These people that I trusted and known for this long ended up just completely squashing the one thing that I love more than anything in the world, which is God and worshiping. So I was like, I'm not going back to this. This is stupid. So then I wrote up a paragraph after I left the church about how God couldn't be real because he subjects people to hate and he created all this badness in the world, which God only creates good things, and God creates light, not darkness, and all that. But I know that now. But yeah, and I was like, I don't want to go back to this. This is not it for me. And that's why I never thought the church was for me. Until I realized that the things that people say to me are not the things that God would say to me. Oh, let me cook. The things people say to me are not the things that God would say to me. God would never tell me my worship's attention seeking, because he knows where I come from. He knows my heart, and he knows that I love worship more than anything. I love spending time with him and being in his presence, type of thing. He knows that 100%. So I realized people had broken my faith time and time again. People had broken my faith. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. Because if your relationship is in God and you're trusting God and you believe in God and what God says, then you know that what they were saying wasn't right. But I didn't know that. Especially when they're adults coming up to you. I get challenged by adults. I do. I get challenged by adults. I love challenging adults. We can sit there and we can have a good conversation, and that's what I live for. And people my age don't do that. Most of them anyways. But I love having a good, intelligent conversation about controversial stuff, but also I'm not going to sit there and get mad at you and throw my idea down your throat and say, believe this, believe this, believe this. You may believe in something else. You might believe in something other than God. I believe my God is the one true way. But you might believe in something other than that, and I respect that. I can't do much about that. That's what you believe, you know? People think Christians are such hypocrites because they constantly shove stuff down people's throats and beat them over the head with the Bible. I'm not into all that. I have my relationship with Jesus. I pray every day. I worship almost every day. I spend time with him every day. I read his word every day, even if it's just one scripture. And now my relationship is built off of me and God, not me and the church plus God. The church doesn't really play a big part in my relationship. Of course, I go to a church, but it doesn't play a big part. I read my Bible at home. I do everything I'm supposed to at home. And that's where I met God in my most intimate moments. But yeah. So where am I now? I am in one of the best places I've ever been in. Truly, honestly, one of the best places I've ever been in. I am overcoming and I'm healing and I'm reading and I'm learning to run and I'm learning to, set goals for myself, and I'm learning how to fly, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I like flying planes. But yeah, I'm just so beyond happy and so beyond thankful and grateful that I came out of that place. It was rough. It was rough. And I just totally speak from a place. I speak from a place of knowing all of it. I know that you've been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff. I know. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to sit there and just wallow in your pity and tears running down your face and, you're bleeding mascara everywhere and you just want to end it all and you just want to give up and you want to pray to God and ask Him to take your life more than you thank Him for giving you it. And that's just so real. Like, I've been in that place before. So I'm never speaking I'm speaking out of authority because I know what I'm talking about. I know where I've been. I know the person that I was. I do. I'm not proud of the person I was, but I'm proud of the person I'm becoming. And that is such a powerful thing. Because the things that I went through that I wasn't proud of is now teaching me how to be the person that I am proud of. I'm proud of my healing and I'm proud of my growth journey. I've grown so much and I'm so, so beyond thankful and beyond proud of myself. And I'm so sorry if you're still living in that victim mentality. But if you're truly struggling with that victim mentality, I ask you to think about this. Think about if you want to wake up one day and be 50 years old and realize that your life still sucks and you're still numbing it you're still numbing your pain with other things that don't even matter. Do you want to be that person who wakes up 50 years from now and say, woe is me, my life sucks, and then go drink or go smoke because that's the only thing that makes you feel in life? Is that what you want to resort to? Is that the person that you want to be? I would hope the answer is no. And I'm not judging you if you smoke or drink to numb. And I'm not judging you if you just do it for whatever purpose. But you can't numb forever. Numbing forever leaves you lost. Numbing forever it's gonna take you out eventually. It will take you out. It will bleed you dry if you just keep numbing yourself and numbing yourself. It will. You're gonna get to the point. And someday you're gonna have to wake up and realize, this is not what I want for myself. Why am I subjecting myself to this? So how do you start? Great question. I started by simply just saying to myself, I'm happy. I wasn't happy. I'm happy. What do I have to be thankful for today? Well, it's not, I have to wake up today. I have to do the dishes today. I have to go to work today. I have to go to school today. It's, I get to go to work. I get to do the dishes because I have dishes. I get to sleep because I have a bed. I get to work because I have a job. No matter how much you hate it, it still sucks more when you don't have money coming in. So you just gotta change your mentality. What way are you looking at life? What way are you looking at it? You don't want to spend the rest of your life being that person who's just down and out. I know you want something better for yourself. I know you want a full life for yourself, and I know you want to be happy, and I know you want to live on the edge and have these stories to tell, and that's what makes life worth living. So if you're asking for your purpose, if you're asking for your meaning in life, try something new. Try to go to the bookstore, read a book. If you don't like reading, try it. Maybe you'll figure out you like it now. Or jump in a lake. Or go swimming in a pool. Or go running. Or go to the gym. Just find things that make you happy in life and start doing those things more. Start surrounding yourself with people who lift you up rather than bring you down. You don't want people in your life who are constantly going to play the victim, constantly tell their story or whatever over and over again. Like, we all don't have struggles. We all go through things. I've been through some stuff. Other people have been through some crazy stuff. I've heard some stories. But you have the power to overcome. And that is such a great thing. I have the ability to sit here on this dock today, record my podcast, and look at this view. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it beautiful? I woke up today, so I get to see this, and I get to do this today. Isn't that amazing? That's just the most amazing thing. And I'm just so thankful that I get to do everything that I get to do. I promise you can do it. I promise you can do it. Just get up and do one thing. One thing. One thing that you've been putting off forever. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Do it. Just do it and see what happens. I promise something good will come of it. I promise you. You're so much stronger than you think. You have the ability to overcome. You have the ability to change. You have the ability to choose who you want to be. If your life is not written yet, you can go move to a whole nother state and be an entirely different person if you wanted to. Entirely different person. You can go, you can change your whole wardrobe, change your house, and talk to people differently, have different conversations with them. You can be an entirely new, different person if you wanted to. So my point is, if you're not happy where you are, then change it, fix it. You have the ability to do so. And that is something that you should be proud of. You should be so proud of that. And I'm proud of you for how far you've come. And I know not a lot of people see your pain and your hurt and your suffering and the things that you're going through. And people can't sympathize with you or be real with you or tell you what you need to do or tell you how to get out of it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. So I can tell you that you can get out of it. You can overcome. You can be better. And it takes time. Not everything's going to be instantaneous. You're not just going to feel some way instantly. But oh my gosh, is it possible? And I'm living proof. I'm living proof. So, thank you guys for tuning into this video today. I really hope you appreciated the view and everything that I had to say. And thank you for listening. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope I gave you something to think about.